What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, Del Mar is the main kind of target this week. However, we do have a grade 1 race at Saratoga. It's going to be coming up on Saturday, and that's what we'll cover in this video. So let's go to Saturday, August 22nd. Put it up on the screen for you now. Race 11 on this card. It is the grade 1 Alabama Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies going 1.25 miles. Should be a fun race. A lot of intrigue over one horse in particular, and we'll get to her in a second, but this is still always a fun race. This is the only time, really, the fillies go 1.25 miles, and kind of interesting, usually how this race unfolds, but nonetheless should be fun. All right, let's go through them. Let's go with number 1, Nikon, to kick us off here. Nikon coming off a 6th place effort last time out in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Not that great of a performance there. In the Gazelle, 2 races back, 4th, beaten 10 lengths by Always a Runner. So we are getting 2nd off of a layoff here. It was 112 days between that Gazelle and Coaching Club American Oaks. Should see an improved performance here. Shouldn't make too much of a difference, I don't think, in my opinion, as far as the overall. Can this horse finish in the top 3? I kind of think not. So I'm going to pass on Nikon here. I will say this. Horses by Nyquist out of an Awesome Again mare. 1.25 miles should be okay. So if you're looking at this and you're going, you know what, I think this filly could get 1.25 miles, maybe she can get 3rd in a race like this at a big price. I get it. It's just not for me in this spot with the number 1, Nikon. The number 2 is Addy Girl. Addy Girl coming off of a maiden special weight win last time out, going 1.125 miles right here at Saratoga. So that is the good news. Going 1.125 miles right here at this track, was able to get the job done and looked decent enough doing it. Sources also by Nyquist out of a Scat Daddy mare. So, I don't know. I think 1.25 miles makes a little bit of sense for this horse, but it took a while, 9 starts, before she finally did break the maiden there in that 9th start. Now, 2 races back, she got beat by a horse named Tap to Open at Churchill Downs. That's a decent enough horse. Got beat by Pure Joy 3 races back, again at Churchill. It's not a bad horse. I think the 1.25 miles helps. You look at what this horse has done, a lot of turf and synthetic starts. Found 1.25 miles maiden special weight, which is very hard to find, but found it at Churchill down that race 3 back. And said, got 2nd, beaten 1/2. Then went 1.125 miles, got 2nd, beaten 1/2, and then 1.125 miles at Saratoga and won. So clearly distance is the thing, and that's what gives this horse a fighting chance in this race. Still think she's a little bit overmatched by the top group, but I think at the distance, Addy Girl actually makes a little bit of sense to hit the board. The number 3 is Measure. Measure coming in off of a 3rd place effort last time out in the Coaching Club American Oaks. Beaten pretty badly, 6 3/4 by Counting Stars, and Always a Runner also a little bit ahead of her as well. 2 races back, 2nd in an allowance race, beaten a length, and then 3 races back, 6th in an allowance race. That was off a long layoff at Churchill Downs. That was on Kentucky Oaks Day, actually, there. So, look, not a ton on the paper that says she's gonna, turn the tables on Counting Stars or anything like that. But again, another horse that's pedigree wise by Essential Quality out of an Escondrea mare. You think, he could probably get the distance, even though kind of looked like she was stumbling home a little bit last time out. And when I compare like the 2 Addy Girl and the 3 Measure, I kind of want the 2 instead as far as underneath goes, because we did see that 1.125 miles race, and Measure didn't finish off all that strongly. So I think, 1.25 miles might be a little bit more of a question mark for her, even though she is bred to get the distance. Speaking of bred to get the distance, but trying it for the first time and trying 2 turns for the first time, that's the number 4, My Guns Loaded. And obviously this is a horse that is a clear alternative to the big favorite that we're going to get to here in just a second. So the good news is, it is clear, at least in my mind, that this is a logical alternative. The bad news is the field's pretty short, and everybody's going to gravitate, I think, to the number 4, My Guns Loaded. And even though she's not going to be as short as price as Counting Stars, that's for sure, she might go off a little bit shorter price than what she should. She's by Gun Runner out of a Congrats mare, another horse that I think should get 1.25 miles. But the biggest thing with her, I think the talent level, she certainly has shown she's the 2nd best horse in this race early from a talent perspective. After a poor debut, the horse was transferred to Chad Brown, broke the maiden up here at Saratoga by 4 1/4. That was on Belmont Stakes Day up here, and looked very good doing it. And then won an allowance in her next start by 3 lengths. Now, the maiden was at 7 furlongs. The allowance was at 1 mile. So the good news is both races have been here at Saratoga, so we know the track's not going to be a problem. The bad news is We don't know what she's going to do at a mile and a quarter. And we don't know what she's going to do against Stakes Company. This is a horse that will be trying Stakes Company for the first time in this spot. And only her and the two Addy Girl are the two horses that are doing that. So question marks, but the talent is there. The last couple of races looked really, really good. It's one of those things in a different spot, or maybe just not facing a horse like Counting Stars. I think you would be more apt to try to, load up on My Guns Loaded, right? But in this spot, I don't know. I'm just a little bit worried there's some question marks there. And, she comes from out of it. So she's going to have to run down a horse like Counting Stars at a distance she's never been. It seems a little questionable to me, but the talent, no doubt, is there. The number 5 is AP's Girl. AP's Girl out of Honor AP, out of a Shanghai Bobby mare. So maybe not bred quite as well to get the distance on the bottom half, but the top half should be okay. Won an allowance at Fairgrounds, 4 races back, then went straight to Stakes Company after that. Ran at Laurel, got beaten a half length, and then ran at Laurel again in the Black Eyed Susan, got beat 2 3/4. And then last time out of Churchill Downs and another stakes race, got beat 2 3/4 again, finishing third. I just don't have a lot of interest in this horse. I'm just looking elsewhere. I think this horse is just a little bit of a cut below. You look at, finishing third in the Black Eyed Susan. It doesn't mean a ton this year, not that great of a race. So I'm looking elsewhere. I'm not looking at the number 5 AP's Girl. Then finally, the clear standout, save the best for last, right? Number 6, Counting Stars, the far and away number 1 horse in this division. And was inconsistent early on, but forget about the first race of the year in February. Just didn't run a step, got 8th, beaten 60 lengths, was eased basically, and just kind of walked across the wire. After that, second in the Honeybee behind Explora. Well, I think Explora, and they've cut the horse back, obviously, but is super, super talented, right? Got beat at a mile 16th, was gaining that day in the Honeybee. So a nice bounce back race. Dominant effort in the Fantasy. And that's what the race that really, really got me on her. It's like, yeah, this is a really nice horse. Went to the Kentucky Oaks and look, ran really well. I don't think there's a ton of excuses there. Got third, beaten 2 1/4. And, I kind of left that day thinking, well, yeah, maybe I was just wrong on her. Maybe she's good, but not great. And then she's proven to be pretty darn good to great after dominating the Acorn, beating Always a Runner, and then beating Always a Runner again in the Coaching Club American Oaks. And not only did she beat the Kentucky Oaks winner in the last 2 starts, 3 3/4 and 4.5, no doubt about it, just kind of buried her. Now we get to this field and we go, okay, let's poke some holes in this favorite. Well, she's by Honor AP out of a Painter mare, so 1 1/4 should be just fine for this horse. She's finishing pretty darn well in this 1 1/8 Coaching Club American Oaks. She did not look like a horse that didn't want to go 1 1/4. I'm not going to go against her. I know it's the strong favorite. I know it's going to be a short price. I don't really care. I like number 6 Counting Stars to win this thing. I think she's going to get the job done. I think she's going to be very, very difficult to beat. And I think she'll put a lock on the 3-year-old filly division. So number 6 Counting Stars on top for me. I'm just going to go number 2 Addy Girl for a little bit of a price in second. I want to get a price involved. I do think that, out of all the other horses, this is kind of the one I'm most confident in is going to get the distance. I love what she's done going longer. I don't think she's a threat to Counting Stars. I like her in second. And I want to beat the number 4 My Guns Loaded in that second spot. I may not be able to do that, right? And I think, there's 2 ways you're going to play it. If you've got Counting Stars on top, you're going to try to get value underneath, or you're going to try to pair up in a daily double, right? So I bet number 2 Addy Girl second, number 4 My Guns Loaded in third, and then the number 3 Measure in fourth. So I'm going to go 6-2-4-3, 6-2-4-3 in this year's running of the Alabama. All right, guys, that'll do for this preview. Hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Saratoga on Saturday.